The Nissan Frontier has always been the underdog of the midsize pickup truck segment. With its unique styling, solid powertrain options, and decent practicality, the Frontier was always a good choice amongst its peers. However, there was nothing that made it stand out from the crowd significantly, allowing other options such as the Toyota Tacoma and Ford Ranger to overshadow it. Well, this is about to change as the Nissan Frontier will go through a major redesign for the 2025 model year. So buckle up and let's take a look at the 5 reasons you should wait for the 2025 Nissan Frontier. Number 5. An all-new face. The Nissan Frontier has, in our opinion, been quite a unique-looking truck, especially the 1980s-inspired hardbody edition. There's something special about a truck that so seamlessly combines a touch of retro heritage with a sharp and modern design. Well, Nissan will now amplify this even further as the 2025 Nissan Frontier will now come with a redesigned front and rear end. Earlier this year, there were spy pictures taken of the Nissan Frontier which show its camouflage fascia and bed, which confirms that there will be an extensive upgrade of the styling. According to some sources, the Frontier will now boast a chunkier and more rugged front end, with an even sharper front bumper design that'll make the car look meaner and tougher, while also retaining the same 1980s design approach that the current one has. The new Frontier also has a less cluttered bed design, especially with the tailgate. The rear taillights will now be sharper and slimmer, and most if not all of the trim levels will have LED taillights as standard. This will make the truck seem more modern as well as more rugged, while also making it easier to spot when braking. Furthermore, the Frontier's off-road iterations will now come with more rugged plastic panels and underside protection to make the truck more resilient when going off-road. Finally, the Nissan Frontier will offer a wider array of colors as well as more steel and alloy wheels to make the whole trim palette much more interesting. The side of the truck won't change much as it is already made very elegantly and simply, with little to no complications, and frankly, we like that a lot. Number 4. Interior has been updated. Now, as much as we like how the current iteration of the Frontier looks from the outside, we hate to say that the interior is a completely different story. Ever since it was introduced, the Frontier's interior looked very dated and very cluttered, which was a major downside of the truck. Thankfully though, we can kiss that old interior goodbye for the 2025 model year, as it will now be replaced by a much more practical and better looking interior, reminiscent of that found in the Nissan Rogue. First of all, you can say goodbye to that horrible mass of buttons found on the central part of the dashboard. Most of them will now be moved to the touchscreen, allowing the truck to be much more eye-pleasing to sit in. Furthermore, the touchscreen itself will be changed to a larger one that sits atop the dashboard, allowing for better visibility and a simpler way of using the system altogether. Now, if you're worried about your precious climate controls, don't be, as the Nissan Frontier will retain physical dials for them as well as physical buttons for heated and cooled seats, if you spec them out, of course. Most important, however, is the fact that the quality of the interior will be on a higher level. We're talking about much more soft-touch plastics, better leather seats, and a higher level of attention to detail. Sure, it won't have an interior that is as posh as the Rogue's, however, it will be pretty close, which is, for a mid-sized truck, high praise. Number 3. The V6 persists. In an age of downsizing, it's quite refreshing to see a manufacturer that wants to preserve large and reliable engines. Toyota, Chevrolet, GMC, and many others have all traded their large displacement engines for overstrained turbocharged ones. Not Nissan though. Nissan has remained true to pickup truck fans, and their 3.8-liter naturally aspirated V6 is still going to be the only powertrain offered with the Frontier. However, we're also pleased to say that Nissan also decided to treat us with an increased power output for the V6, as it has been said that the powertrain will now push out upwards of 320 horsepower. This 10+ horsepower increase might not seem like much. However, with it, the torque figures will also increase. The previously anemic 281 pound-feet of torque has now risen to a much more respectable figure of 300 pound-feet. What helped this was the fact that Nissan also decided to tweak their fantastic 9-speed auto, which is now more responsive and capable of increased straining compared to the 2024 model. As a result, the Frontier will now be able to tow more than 7,000 pounds, making it quite a capable pickup truck. Sure, it's still not the most torquey one, however, we're more than glad to trade in enormous levels of torque for a smooth and reliable V6, which is why we're very much fascinated by the Frontier. You should be too. Number 2. A wide array of body style options. Let's not pretend that the variety of midsize pickup trucks hasn't taken a toll in the past few years. It has. Most midsize pickup trucks nowadays offer only a crew cab as their only option, which, while understandable, makes the whole point of the pickup truck obsolete. Instead of utilitarian vehicles, we've now got glorified people carriers that soccer moms drive. While Nissan isn't one of those manufacturers, as they will keep offering multiple body configurations for the 2025 model year. The most popular one will, of course, be the crew cab. It'll by far be the most comfortable choice of the bunch, with loads of legroom in the back, as well as a suspension that will be generally much softer and nicer than that of Nissan's rivals, making it the ideal pick for you if you need a true multi-purpose vehicle or if you're one of the aforementioned soccer moms. And don't worry about the truck's bed space, as it will still be very usable, a very respectable 59.5 inches in length, which is roughly around half an inch away from 5 feet. Apart from that, you will also have the King Cab, which is Nissan's idea of an extended cab. This will be ideal for those of you who prioritize practicality over interior space. With its 73.3 inches of length, the bed of the King Cab Frontier will fit almost anything, while its extended cab configuration will provide more than enough interior space for 2 additional passengers. Don't expect acres of room though. However, the piece de resistance of the lineup will be the crew cab long bed. This is for those of you that don't want to compromise, as with it you'll be getting the same amount of passenger space as the regular crew cab. However, with that you'll also be getting the enormous 73.3 inches of bed length, making it the largest midsize crew cab bed currently on offer. Ain't that something? Number 1. Competitive pricing. In the age of constant economic uncertainty, most pickup trucks tend to be much more expensive than they should be. Honestly, who's buying a bare-bones Tacoma for $33,000? It has nothing going for it. A weak engine, virtually no options, horrible interior quality, and a very, very mediocre driving experience. For the same money, you could buy a pickup truck that could run circles around it, which is exactly what the 2025 Nissan Frontier does. It has a 320 horsepower V6 engine, acres of torque, and quite a bit more options. Let's not forget about the ride quality, which is also unparalleled. Its soft suspension literally runs circles around that unbearably stiff ride that Tacoma, Colorado, or Ranger have to offer. Combine that with softer seats and you can start to understand why this pickup truck presents itself like quite the bargain next to its competition. And we're only talking about the base model. Once you start adding in the options and checking out different trim levels, you'll see how better can the Frontier become. First of all is the interior quality, which with the 2025 model completely decimates all of its rivals but the GMC Canyon, which is $6,000 more expensive on average. And to top it all off, the Nissan Frontier will very much beat out most of its peers in the driving dynamics department. Sure, it won't be as direct as the Chevy Colorado, however, it will be much more comfortable than it, which is a good trade in our opinion. Nissan understood that to beat its rivals, it has to undercut them in terms of pricing, while also offering a better product, which is exactly what they did for the 2025 model year. They've actually succeeded at making an ideal middle ground of all the pickup trucks the Frontier rivals, which simultaneously made it one of the best choices in the segment. Good job, Nissan. Keep it up. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.